Hello everyone. So in the last lecture we were solving some complex equations uh, by using various methods. The most widely used method that we have discussed is by putting a complex number z is equal to x plus iota y, where x and y were obviously real numbers, and by comparing real and imaginary part we have make some equations, and by solving those equations we get the values of x and y. Okay, so one very useful method that we couldn't able to cover in that lecture was by using Euler's form. We can solve the complex equations by using Euler's form, that is our exponential form of complex number. Okay, so let's take an example. The question says we have to solve the complex number z, where z square is equal to iota times conjugate of z. Okay, so let us consider that complex number z to be some r into e to the power iota theta, a complex number whose magnitude is, whose modulus is r, and whose amplitude is theta. Okay, so if we put this complex number z into our equation, we will get z square, that is r square, e to the power iota theta whole square becomes e to the power iota 2 theta, and is equal to iota. I am going to write this iota in the Euler's form itself, that is 1 into e to the power iota pi by 2 into, if I am assuming z as r into e to the power I theta, the z conjugate will be e to the power iota minus theta. Okay, so r into e to the power minus iota theta. Okay, so r square e to the power I 2 theta becomes equal to r into e to the power iota times pi by 2 minus theta. Okay, now we are going to comparing the modulus. If I am having two complex number, left hand side and right hand side, and both are equal, then their modulus must be equal. So comparing modulus, will get r square is equal to r, that is r is equal to either 0 or equal to 1. Okay, by comparing amplitude, what do we get? By comparing amplitude, we get 2 theta is equal to pi by 2. This is amplitude, the part that is written beside iota in the power of e, that is our amplitude. So 2 theta is equal to pi by 2 minus theta, but we know that by comparing amplitude we always write 2 and pi here. Okay, where n is some integer. So 3 theta becomes pi by 2 plus 2 and pi, and finally theta becomes pi by 6 plus 2 and pi by 3, where n is any integer. So this is our theta. Okay, now by putting various values of n, we will get some values of theta. So if we put n is equal to 0, our theta will be equal to simply pi by 6. If I put n is equal to 1, then theta will be pi by 6 plus 2 pi by 3, and that will be 5 pi by 6. Okay, and if I put n is equal to 2, we get theta equal to pi by 6 plus 4 pi by 3, and that is 9 pi by 6. Okay, if further I put n is equal to 3, let's see what happened. Theta becomes pi by 6 plus 2 pi. If I put n is equal to 3, then n and 3 will get cancelled, and theta will be pi by 6 plus 2 pi, and you can clearly observe that these two angles, pi by 6 and other is pi by 6 plus 2 pi, these are not the different angles. Okay, because pi by 6 will be this angle 30 degree, and 2 pi plus pi by 6 will be that only. that angle only. Okay, so 2 pi means basically one complete rotation. So we will get, by considering different values of n, we will get only 3 values of theta, and that is pi by 6, pi by 6, 5 pi by 6 and 9 pi by 6. Okay, so I can say if we are having 2n pi divided by 3, then we will have to put just any 3 consecutive integers. Okay, so it's better that we put n is equal to 0, 1 and 2. If we are required to put any 3 consecutive integers, then the simple 3 consecutive integers are just 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so finally we get our amplitude. Our modulus was 0 or 1. So final answer, we are required to find the value of z. So one value of z is 0 itself, because the 0 complex number has the magnitude or its modulus as 0. Other complex number having its magnitude as 1, and these 3 amplitudes are modulus 1, e to the power iota, e to the power iota pi by 6. Other will be 1 into e to the power iota 5 pi by 6, and the third will be 1 into e to the power iota 9 pi by 6. Okay, this 9 pi by 6, we can convert this. You can say this 9 pi by 6 is greater than pi, so we can find what is the amplitude. If we write 9 pi by 6, then it is not incorrect, it is also correct, but we can make this 9 pi by 6 in the range of minus pi to pi. Okay, 9 pi by 6 basically means pi plus 3 pi by 6. It means 3 pi by 2. Okay, so 3 pi by 2 is basically this angle. Okay, 3 pi by 2, we can also say it as minus pi by 2. Okay, so I can write this as z equal to 1 into e to the power iota minus pi by 2. E to the power minus iota pi by 2 will be minus iota. Okay, and similarly you can find what is the cis theta equivalent of these two complex numbers. So finally we get these 4 answers. One is z equal to 0, other is z equal to e to the power iota pi by 6, other is e to the power iota 5 pi by 6, and the fourth one is minus iota. So we have discussed that the other method of solving complex equation is by Euler's form. We will put, we assume z to be r into e to the power iota theta, and by comparing real and we do not compare real and imaginary part here, we compare modulus and amplitude. Okay, but one important thing is, when we are going to compare this amplitude, we must not forget this 2n pi. Okay, because if we forget this 2n pi, we will not get the multiple solutions. Okay, let us see another question. The second question says, find the value of z or solve for z where z square plus modulus of z is equal to 0. Again, we can assume z to be r into e to the power iota theta in Euler's form. Okay, then we will put this z in the original equation. We get r square into e to the power iota 2 theta plus, what is modulus of z? If we are assuming z to be r into e to the power iota theta, or modulus is r only. Okay, so we get r, by taking r as common, r into e to the power iota 2 theta plus 1 becomes equal to 0. So either r equal to 0 or r into e to the power iota 2 theta plus 1 equal to 0. R equal to 0 is itself sufficient for determining a complex number. There is only one complex number whose modulus is equal to 0, and that is 0 itself. Okay, so the other factor is e to the power iota 2 theta. E to the power iota 2 theta is minus 1 by r. Transpose this one to the right hand side and divide it by r, we get minus 1 by r. Okay, so minus 1 by r is what? R is a real number, so minus 1 by r is again a real number. I can write this real number in the form of, in Euler's form, in exponential form. Okay, the idea is to write everything in exponential form. So I will get e to the power iota 2 theta is equal to minus 1 by r, magnitude is minus 1 by r, and minus 1, I will write minus 1 as e to the power minus iota pi. Okay, because minus 1, minus 1 is on the negative real axis, its magnitude is equal to 1 and this amplitude is what? Pi. So I can write it as e to the power iota pi. Okay, yes. So again, by comparing modulus and amplitude, if we compare modulus, we will get 1 is equal to 1 by r, and finally r is equal to 1. And by comparing amplitude, we get 2 theta is equal to what? 2 theta, and this amplitude here is 2 theta and here is pi. Okay, so 2 theta is pi, but we must not forget to write here as 2 and pi. Okay, so we are required to find the value of theta, and by dividing by 2 we get pi by 2 plus 2 and pi divided by 2. N is what? N is integer, so you can say here denominator is 2, so we are required to put any two consecutive integer, and the simple values of n we can take it as 0 and 1. So if we take n is equal to 0, we get theta is equal to pi by 2, and if I put n is equal to 1, so this 2 and 2 already get cancelled. N is equal to 1 means theta is equal to pi by 2 plus pi means 3 pi by 2. Okay, so final answer is what? Final answer is, I can write final answer z is equal to, one answer is 0 because earlier we get z equal to 0, other is z is equal to, what is our modulus? The modulus is 1, so 1 into e to the power iota theta is pi by 2, so this will be iota only, and other is r into e to the power iota 3 pi by 2. 3 pi by 2 is nothing but this angle 3 pi by 2. Okay, and modulus is 1, so we will get minus iota. So these three are 0, iota and minus iota are our complete solution. Okay, so in this method you observe one very useful technique to solve the complex equation, and that is by Euler's form. Okay, we put z equal to r into e to the power iota theta, and then by comparing modulus and its amplitude we get the solution. Okay, so moving on to the next topic, it is very important and very useful, very simple also, that is cube root of unity. Okay, cube root of unity, unity is nothing but 1, so we are going to find the cube root of 1. Cube root of 1 means the solution of z cube is equal to 1. Cube root of 1 means 1 to the power 1 by 3. We are required to solve this equation 1 to the power 1 by 3. If I cube both sides, we get z cube is equal to 1 or z cube minus 1 equal to 0. We can factorize this by using the formula for a cube minus b cube. We get z minus 1 into z square plus z plus 1 equal to 0. So either z equal to 0 or z square plus z plus 1 equal to 0. This is nothing but a quadratic equation. So by applying quadratic formula, we get z equal to minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac divided by 2, that is z equal to -1 plus minus root of -3 is nothing but iota root 3 divided by 2. So by considering positive sign, 1z we get as -1 plus iota root 3 by 2, and by considering negative sign we get -1 minus iota root 3 by 2. So these three are cube root of 1. One is 1 itself. Cube root of 1 means the number which we multiply by itself 3 times we get 1. So one value is 1 itself, other two are basically complex numbers. Okay, one is -1 plus iota root 3 by 2, other is -1 minus iota root 3 by 2. Okay, generally we write these two complex cube root of unity as one as omega, other as omega square. Okay, this is nothing but the way of representation. Okay, so generally in most of the books you will see this positive part, when we consider positive part, this has omega and the other one as omega square. So 1 omega and omega square are cube roots of unity. Okay, obviously one is real and these two, omega and omega square, are complex cube root of unity. Complex cube root of unity means 1. Okay, the other way to solve this cube root of unity is by considering Euler's form. Okay, if z is equal to 1 to the power 1 by 3, I can write this 1 as e to the power iota 0, or in general form I can write 0 plus 2n pi. Okay, whole to the power 1 by 3, it becomes e to the power iota 2n pi by 3. Okay, where n is what? N is any integer. So denominator is 3, it means we are going to put any 3 consecutive integer, and the simple one are n equal to 0, n equal to 1 and n is equal to 2. So if I put n equal to 0, I will get e to the power iota 0, which is nothing but 1. If I put n is equal to 1, I will get z equal to e to the power iota 2 pi by 3. So if I convert this into cis theta, I will get cos of 2 pi by 3 plus iota sine of 2 pi by 3. Okay, 2 pi by 3 means 120 degree, cos 120 degrees minus 1 by 2, and sine 120 degrees plus root 3 by 2. Okay, and if I put n equal to 2, I'll get e to the power iota, we are putting n equal to 2 here, so e to the power iota 4 pi by 3. If I convert this as in the form of cis theta, that is cos 4 pi by 3 plus iota sine 4 pi by 3, again we are going to get cos 4 by 3 is nothing but minus 1 by 2, and sine 4 pi by 3, 4 pi by 3 basically 240 degree. Okay, so sine 240 degree is minus root 3 by 2. Okay, so again you can observe the complex cube root of unity are minus 1 by 2 plus iota root 3 by 2 and minus 1 by 2 minus iota root 3 by 2, and the real one is 1. Okay, so we can solve by using any method. Okay, by simple factorization, by using Euler's form. So our cube root of unity, there are 3 cube root of unity, that is 1 omega square. 1 is obviously real, and these 2 omega and omega square are, we can say that, complex. Okay, complex cube root of unity. So in many more questions you will see this term complex cube root of unity. So by reading complex cube root of unity in any question, you'll automatically consider them to be omega and omega square. Okay. Some very important properties of this cube root of unity are: the first one is 1 plus omega square is equal to 0. You can easily prove this property by simply adding these three, the first, second and third. You can add these three and get as 0. Okay. The other way to look into this property is 1 omega and omega square are the roots of this equation, that is z cube minus 1. In the theory of equation we studied that sum of roots of any polynomial equation is negative times the coefficient of if we are having a cubic equation, so negative times the coefficient of z square divided by the leading coefficient, that is the coefficient of z cube. Okay, so there is no term of z square here, so it means coefficient of z square is 0. If I divide 0 by 1, we get 0 only. So you can see that the sum of these cube root of unity is equal to 0. Okay, these 1 omega and omega square are the roots of this polynomial equation. So if I say write the sum of roots of this polynomial equation, you will write it as minus times coefficient of z square and divided by coefficient of what? Z cube. Coefficient of z square is 0. Whatever may be the coefficient of z cube, we are going to get 0 only. Okay, so this is very important property, that is 1 plus omega square is equal to 0. So by using this property, you can write 1 plus omega square as minus omega, or 1 plus omega as minus omega square, or omega plus omega square is equal to 1. Okay. Second property is omega cube is equal to 1. This is very obvious. If omega is the solution of this equation, z cube minus 1 equal to 0, it means omega is going to satisfy this equation. So if we put omega in place of z, we get omega cube minus 1 equal to 0, or omega cube is equal to 1. Okay, so if omega cube is equal to 1, what will be omega to the power 6? It will also be 1. What will be omega to the power 9? Again 1. Omega to the power 15, 1. Omega to the power say 189, it is also 1, because this 189 is a multiple of 3. Okay, so in the third property we have written the higher powers of omega. If omega has some power of multiple of 3, omega to the power 3n, like this, okay, 6, 9, 15, 189 and so on, so it will be 1. Okay, if the power is multiple of 3 plus 1, 3n plus 1 type, okay, 3n plus 1 type means if we are dividing a number by 3, we get remainder as 1. Let's say this power 16, omega to the power 16, what will be omega to the power 16? I can write this omega to the power 3 whole to the power 5 into omega. Okay, so this part become 1 and we are left with omega only. Okay, so if power upon dividing by 3 leaves remainder 1, then the answer will be omega. And if the power is of the type 3 and plus 2, it means we are dividing the power by 3 and getting a remainder of 2, then effectively that thing will be omega square, like say omega to the power 20. So I can write omega to the power 20 as omega to the power 3 whole to the power 6 into omega square, omega to the power 18 plus 2. Okay, so this portion becomes 1 and we are left with omega square. Okay, so in this manner we can solve some higher powers of omega. Okay, some other properties are this complex cube root of unity. If I am saying this complex cube root of unity, it means I am talking about this omega and omega square only, because 1 is also a cube root of unity, but that is not complex, that is real. Okay, so the first property is omega and omega square are reciprocal of each other. Very simple. It means 1 by omega is equal to omega square. How I can get 1 by omega as omega square? I will multiply numerator denominator by omega square, and it will be omega square upon omega cube. Omega cube is nothing but 1, so eventually I get this 1 by omega as omega square. Similarly, I can say 1 by omega square is equal to omega. So these two are reciprocals of each other. The other thing is they are also conjugate of each other. It means omega bar conjugate of omega is equal to omega square, and the conjugate of omega square is equal to omega. This thing you can observe from here only. This is our omega, minus 1 plus iota root 3 by 2. If you take this conjugate of omega, it means you are going to change the sign of I, so you are going to get this omega square. Okay, so it's very evident that these two are conjugate of each other. These two are reciprocals of each other. These are also the conjugate of each other. And the third thing is that these are squares of each other also. What does it mean? That if I square omega, we will get omega square. This is very clear. And if I square this omega square, I will get omega, because omega to the power 4, I can write this as omega cube into omega. Omega cube is equal to 1. So finally we get omega. So these these complex cube root of unity, that is omega and omega square, are reciprocal, conjugate and squares of each other. Okay. Next property is 1 plus omega to the power n plus omega to the power 2n. 1 plus omega to the power n is what? N is some integer. Any integer can be written as 3k or 3k plus 1 or 3k plus 2. It means if we are dividing this integer by 3, we are going to get the remainder as 0 or 1 or 2 only. Okay, so 1 plus omega to the power n plus omega to the power 2n is equal to 3 if this n is a multiple of 3. This is very clear. If n is a multiple of 3, omega to the power n is 1, omega to the power 2n is also 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. Okay, but if this this n is not the multiple of 3, it means some kind of integer which when dividing by 3 leaves remainder 1 or 2, like say n is equal to 7. Okay, if I divide this 7 by 3, I will get remainder 1. So 1 plus omega to the power 7 plus omega to the power 2 into 7 is always equal to 0. You can clearly see omega to the power 7 is equal to what? Omega, and omega to the power 14 is omega square. So finally we get 1 plus omega square, which is nothing but 0. Okay, so moving on to next property, and that is what will happen if we locate these cube roots of unity. Cube roots of unity are 1, omega and omega square on our complex plane or origin plane. Okay, so you can observe one thing, that these three cube roots of unity, all three are unimodular. Unimodular means all three have its modulus as equal to 1. If you consider the modulus of these three, you will get modulus of all these three numbers as equal to 1. So these are unimodular. Unimodular means if we are going to locate these complex numbers on our complex plane, they are at a distance of 1 unit from origin. It means if I draw a circle of unit radius means whose radius is equal to 1, okay, and having its center at origin, all those complex number which are on this unit circle, any circle having its radius as equal to 1 and center at 0, so all those complex number which will be on this circle have its modulus as equal to 1, because modulus represents the distance of that complex number from origin, okay. So if the radius of this circle is equal to 1, that distance is always going to be 1, okay. So let us locate these three complex numbers on this Argent plane, okay. This is our Argent planar complex plane. This is real axis, this vertical one is our imaginary axis, intersection of both is origin, okay. So first one is on one, that is 1 comma 0. So this is our first cube root of unity. The other one is omega, and what is omega? Omega is minus 1 by 2 plus iota root 3 by 2. It will be minus 1 by 2 comma root 3 by 2 point. So x is negative, y is positive, that means this complex number is in second quadrant. If I write this omega in the form of Euler's form, I will get e to the power iota 2 pi by 3, okay. 2 pi by 3 means its amplitude is 2 pi by 3. 2 pi by 3 means positive real axis से एंगल होना चाहिए हमारा 2 pi by 3, okay. So it will be somewhere here. So this is our omega, and other is omega square, which was minus 1 by 2 minus iota root 3 by 2. In the exponential form it was e to the power iota 4 pi by 3. 4 pi by 3 means 240 degree. So starting from positive real axis 240 degree will be, this is 180 and plus 60, okay. So it will be somewhere here. We can also locate this omega square by considering this omega square to be the conjugate of omega. We already know that omega and omega square are what? Conjugate of each other, okay. So conjugate is nothing but, geometrically speaking, conjugate is what? Conjugate is the mirror image of any complex number in the real axis, okay. So these two are complex cube root of unity, that is omega and omega square. This is omega. Omega is in second quadrant, omega square is in third quadrant, and the real one, that is 1, is on the real axis. If I join these three complex numbers, we are going to get a equilateral triangle. You can see this triangle, let me say A, B and C point, A, B and C. This ABC is an equilateral triangle. How I can say this triangle is equilateral? Because this central angle is 120 degree. This angle is again 120 degree. If I subtract 120 plus 120 out of 360, I will get 120 again. So this angle is also 120 degree, okay. It means this triangle is equilateral, okay. So if we generalize this thing to some higher cube roots of some higher I can say fourth root of unity or fifth root of unity, we can say that whatever these roots of unity, they will be placed on a unit circle in the Argent plane at equal distance. You can clearly see that these three distance, that a distance AB, distance BC, distance CA, these distances are what? Equal. It means if I try to locate fourth root of unity. Fourth root of unity, let's say fourth root of unity, it means 1 to the power 1 by 4. So 1 to the power 1 by 4, we will have 4 such numbers, and all those numbers, all those roots will be on this unit circle only, and they must be separated with equal distance. Okay, so fourth root of unity, it means 1 to the power 1 by 4. तो वन आंसर इज 1. ओके, एक आंसर तो हमेशा 1 ही होगा. 1 टू द पावर 4 करेंगे तो आंसर इज 1. ओके, सो द लोकेशन ऑफ 1 ऑन unit circle is 1 comma 0, and if we are having all these 4 roots separated by same distance, it means this central angle must be divided in 4 equal parts. Okay, so central total angle is what? 360 degree. If we are dividing this complete 360 degree in 4 parts, we are going to get 90 degrees. So the other root must be at 90 degree, third root must be at 90 degree from the second, and the fourth root must be at angle of 90 degree from the third one. So now I can clearly say that this root is what? Iota. This root is -1 and this is minus iota, because this circle was unit circle having radius 1 and center as origin. Okay, so in this manner we can get fourth root of unity. We can also get fifth root of unity. Okay, let's see, let us locate fifth root of unity, the roots of fifth root of unity on the origin plane. Okay, let me create some space here. Let's say if we are required to locate the fifth root of unity on the origin plane. Okay, so fifth root of unity, we know we are going to get 5 such complex number. All those complex numbers will be unimodular. It means they must be on the unit circle, a circle having its radius as 1, center at 0. The one answer is 1 only. Okay, it means what is the real part? No, I mean to say that what is that real number which to the power 5 is 1? That is 1 only. So 1 on the complex plane will be 1 comma 0. Okay, and we know that these 5 complex numbers are to be separated at same distance. It means we must divide this 360 degree angle in 5 equal parts. So if I divide this 360 upon 5, we are going to get 72 degree. Okay, it means all these complex numbers must be at a separation of 72 degrees. So 1 will be somewhere here. Let's say this is Z1, this is Z0. From 72 degree from here, that is, let's say here, this is Z2. Again 72 degree from here, this is 72 degree, so this is Z3, and again at 72 degree I will get Z4. Okay, so these are the location of fifth root of unity. If we are required to find what are these complex numbers, so clearly we can write this Z1 as modulus is equal to 1. I can write this 1 into e to the power iota, and angle is what? This angle is 72 degree. In the radian I will write it as 2 pi by 5. 2 pi by 5. So this is one complex number. So, okay, if we are required to find what is Z2, I can write this as again 1 into e to the power iota. What is this complete this angle? 2 pi by 5 plus 2 pi by 5. it means 4 pi by 5. Okay, so in this manner we can write Z3 and Z4 also. Okay, so moving on, some further more properties. So these are some important factorizations on the basis of this omega and omega square. A cube minus b cube, we already know what is the formula for a cube minus b cube. It is a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square. But this factor we can now further factorize this as a minus b into a minus b omega and a minus b omega square. Okay, if somewhere we are required to further factorize this quadratic factor into two linear factors, then we can factorize this quadratic as a minus b omega into a minus b omega square. You can multiply these two and check by yourself that we are going to get this a square plus ab plus b square. Let me multiply a square minus ab omega square, and then this minus b a omega and plus b square into omega cube. Okay, so this is a square minus ab is common, omega plus omega square, and plus b square because this omega is to the power 3 is 1. What is the value of omega plus omega square? 1 plus omega square is always 0, so omega plus omega square is equal to minus 1. So we are left with a square plus ab plus b square. Okay, yes, so this is some factorization. Next you can see a cube plus b cube. We already know what is the formula for a cube plus b cube, that is a plus b into a square minus ab plus b square. Okay, if we are required to further factorize this quadratic factor into two linear factors, we can factorize it as a plus b omega into a plus b omega square. You can multiply these two factors to get this a square minus ab plus b square. Okay, third one is a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3ab abc. Okay, so this is a plus b plus c into a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca. Okay, again, if we are required to further factorize this quadratic into some linear factors, we can factorize it as a plus b plus c into a plus b omega plus c omega square into a plus b omega square plus c omega. Okay, you can easily multiply these two factors to get this a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca. Okay, so these are some important factorizations. Now let us see what is the cube root of, what are the cube roots of minus 1. We have already seen what is the cube root of 1. Now cube root of minus 1. So cube root of minus 1 are nothing but minus 1 minus omega square. Okay, cube roots of minus 1 are minus 1 minus omega and minus omega square. How we can get this? Cube root of minus 1 means this thing. Okay, if we whole cube both sides, z cube will be minus 1, z cube plus 1 is equal to 0. We can factorize this. Z cube plus 1 is z plus 1 into z square minus z plus 1 equal to 0. Recently we have seen how to factorize this a square minus ab plus b square, that is z plus a plus b omega into a plus b omega square. Okay, so we will get z equal to minus 1, z equal to minus omega, z equal to minus omega square. Okay, we can also apply quadratic formula here, and from there on from there also we can get this minus omega and minus omega square. Okay, so these are the cube roots of minus 1. Cube roots of minus 1, I can say these are the negative of cube root of 1. Okay, if we generalize this thing on cube root of any number, I can write it as cube root of any number, say a. Okay, if a is any number, a can be positive, it can be negative also. Let me first consider it to be positive. Let's say a is positive. So what are the cube roots of a to the power 1 by 3? So cube roots of a to the power 1 by 3 are a into a omega into a omega square. How we can get this? Again, by solving this equation, z equal to a to the power 1 by 3. By cubing we can get z to the power 3 equal to a, that is minus a equal to 0. So z minus a cube into, okay, by further factorizing this we can get a cube root of 1 as cube root of 1, the other is cube root of 1 into omega, and the other is cube root of this a into omega square. Okay, and the second case may be when a is less than 0. Okay, when a is less than 0, then the cube root of a will be again this minus times cube root of a. Let me take this absolute value. Okay, if a is negative, let's say a is equal to minus 8, so we are required to find this cube root of minus 8. Okay, so cube root of minus 8, there are 3 cube roots. Okay, first consider what is the absolute value of a, that is 8, and 8 cube root of 8 will be 2. Okay, so 2 omega 2 omega 2 omega square, and put negative sign in all of these 3. Okay, so this thing we are seeing here, cube root of a will be, there are 3 cube roots. The one is minus times cube root of absolute part of a, other is minus times cube root of absolute part of a into omega, and the other is minus times cube root of absolute part of a into omega square. Okay, so we can remember these two things. Okay, to find some, to calculate or to simplify some questions like this. This question says solve x minus 1 whole cube plus 8 equal to 0. One method is to solve it by considering this to be a polynomial equation. The other method is by using this cube root of 1 or minus 1. Okay, so we can write this equation as x minus 1 whole cube is equal to what? Minus 8, or x minus 1 is equal to cube root of minus 8. Okay, so we can apply this thing, cube root of any negative number. Cube root of any negative number is, let me first see what is the cube root of absolute part of this a. Okay, if a is negative, so absolute part of minus 8 is 8, and its cube root will be 2. So there are 3 cube roots of minus 8, and that is minus 2 omega and minus 2 omega square. Okay, so these are the values of x minus 1. We are interested in finding x, so we are going to transfer this minus 1 in the right hand side. We will get x to be 1 minus 2 omega and 1 minus 2 omega square. So finally we get x to be minus 1 minus 2 omega, 1 minus 2 omega square. These are the 3 answers. Okay, further we can also put the value of omega and omega square in these two parts. Okay, What is omega? Omega is minus 1 by 2 plus iota root 3 by 2. Omega square is minus 1 by 2 minus iota root 3 by 2. Okay, let's see what is the next question. Next question, you find the complex number which is satisfying this equation. Equation is z cube equal to 8 iota, and we are interested in finding that solution which lies in the second quadrant of complex plane. Second quadrant of complex plane is this thing, you know. So the real part must be negative, imaginary part must be positive. Okay, first solve this equation, z cube equal to 8 iota. I can write z cube equal to 8 iota as 8 iota cube. Iota cube is equal to what? Minus iota. Okay, so further we can write z upon 8 iota whole cube, sorry, z upon 2 iota whole cube. This 8 iota is what? 2 iota whole cube. 8 iota cube can be written as 2 iota whole cube. So z upon 2 iota whole cube is equal to what? Is equal to minus 1. It means z upon 2 iota whole cube, or if we take cube root both side, so we get z upon 2 iota is what? Cube root of minus 1. We already know what are the cube roots of minus 1, that are minus 1, minus omega and minus omega square. So these are the values of z upon 2 iota. So if we multiply 2 iota, we get z equal to 2 iota into minus 1, 2 iota into minus omega square, and 2 iota into minus omega square. So z is equal to minus 2 iota, minus 2 iota omega, and minus 2 iota omega square. Okay, we can put the value of omega and omega square. So minus 2 iota omega is what? Minus 1 by 2 plus iota root 3 by 2, and omega square is minus 1 by 2 minus iota root 3 by 2. Okay, so by further simplifying we can get this minus 2 iota is going to multiply in omega, so we will get plus iota and minus 2 iota into iota. Iota square is itself minus 1, so minus 1 into minus 1, again we are going to get plus root 3. So iota plus root 3, and this thing if you multiply minus 2 iota in minus 1 by 2, so minus minus plus, 2 get cancelled, iota, and if you multiply this minus 2 iota in minus iota root 3 by 2, minus minus will be plus, but I square will be minus. Okay, so 2 get cancelled, iota minus root 3. We are interested in finding that solution which lies in second quadrant. Second quadrant means real part must be negative and imaginary part must be positive. So by looking these three complex numbers, this is our required solution, which real part is negative and imaginary part is what? Positive. Okay, so final answer is minus root 3 plus iota. Okay, so let us check some more questions. We are given this minus 1 by 2 plus iota root 3 by 2 whole to the power 1000. Okay, we can simplify these kind of questions. So what we can say, minus 1 by 2 plus iota root 3 by 2, this is nothing but omega, so omega to the power 1000. Omega to the power 1000, if power is very big, what we'll do, we divide this power by 3 and check what is the remainder. If remainder is 0, it means the power is the multiple of 3. If remainder is 1, then the answer will be omega. If remainder is 2, the answer will be omega square. So if we divide this 1000 by 3, we get what? Remainder as 1. It means we can write this omega to the power 100 as omega cube whole to the power 333 into omega. This part is 1, so we are left with omega only. Okay, in a plus iota b form I can write minus 1 by 2 plus iota root 3 by 2. Okay, next, root 3 plus iota whole to the power 17. If we are seeing 1 and root 3, okay, it means we can convert this in the form of omega or omega square. Okay, by seeing this root 3 and 1 part, I can easily convert this to be in the form of omega or omega square or minus omega square. Okay, for that to be true, this iota part must be with root 3 only. Okay, so we are going to take this iota to be common. So if we take iota common from the bracket, it will be iota to the power 17, and in the bracket we are left with 1. Okay, 1 plus root 3 upon iota whole to the power 17. But this 1 upon iota is nothing but minus iota. Okay, what will be iota to the power 17? Iota to the power 4 is equal to 1. Iota to the power 4 is equal to 1. It means I to the power 17 is I only, and in the bracket it's 1 minus iota root 3. Okay, so let us multiply and divide it by 2 in the bracket. Okay, so iota times 1 minus iota root 3 upon 2 whole to the power 17. So effectively we have divided by 2 to the power 17, so let me multiply by 2 to the power 17. Okay, so 2 to the power 17 into iota, and now check what is this 1 minus iota root 3 upon 2. Iota is equal to minus 1 plus iota root 3 by 2. Okay, so minus omega will be 1 minus iota root 3 by 2. So in the bracket this is nothing but minus omega. Okay, so this is minus omega to the power 17. Minus omega to the power 17 is, take this minus 1 to the power 17 part as common, I to the power I into 2 to the power 17 is already there, and omega to the power 17 is nothing but omega square. Okay, now we can put the value of omega square and this thing will be simplified. We can write this to be in a plus iota b form. Okay, we can simplify this question in the form of by using Euler's form also. Okay, if you are not comfortable in this omega, then you can always use this Euler's form. Okay, you will just have to write this root 3 plus iota in exponential form, and then by powering this 17, or you can also use de Moivre's theorem. So there are many methods. Let's see what is the third part. Again we have to simplify this 1 plus omega square, 1 plus omega to the power 4, 1 plus omega to the power 8, 2n factors. 2n factor means even factors are there. Okay, even factors are there, it means we can combine these two factors. So if we multiply this first and second bracket, we will get 1 plus omega square plus omega and plus omega cube. If I multiply this third and fourth part, I'll get 1 plus omega to the power 4 plus omega to the power 8 plus omega to the power 12. Now observe, this thing is 0, again this thing is 0, 1 plus omega square is 0, 1 plus omega to the power n plus omega to the power 2n is also 0 if n is not a multiple of 3. So it means this portion is also equal to 0. Okay, so you can clearly see that by multiplying these two factors, combining these two factors, we are getting what? This 1. Omega cube is equal to 1, omega to the power 12 is also 1. So if there are two n factors, if we combine two factors, then we are going to get these n brackets, and all those brackets are equal to 1. So 1 multiplied by n times effectively gives us 1 only. Okay, next part, 1 plus omega minus omega square into 1 minus, this is very simple. We know that 1 plus omega square is equal to 0. So I can write this 1 plus omega as minus omega square, and this 1 plus omega square as minus omega. So this is minus 2 omega square, this is minus 2 omega, minus 2 into minus 2 is 4 into omega cube. So this is 4. Okay, so that's it for complex cube root of unity. Okay, thank you.